Okay, so I believe there are two people for the presentation. There is also alternate presentation going on. You guys can join that too. So Shubham and Sivin will give a presentation here, and other people can go to Akash Ramba's session and give their presentation. So we'll start with Shubham.
So may I share the screen?
Yeah, please do so.
So is my screen visible?
Yeah, it is visible.
Okay. So good evening, one and all. I am Shubham Yadav from Artificial Intelligence, Machine Learning and Data Science batch. So my today's project or task name is Exploratory Data Analysis, or EDA. Problem statement. In EDA task, the user will perform exploratory data analysis on a given data set. In our case, which is credit card fraud detection, to gain insights into data or remove information from the data to identify patterns, trends, and anomalies. And from those insights, studies various functions of the data and use those functions in ML and other algorithms. The intent will also use descriptive analytics techniques to summarize and visualize the data. Talking about the data set contains transactions made by credit cards in September 2013 by European cardholders. This data set presents transactions that occurred in 2 days, where we have 492 frauds out of 284,807 transactions. The data set is highly unbalanced. The positive class account for 0.172% of all the transactions. So the picture below gives the bit of a gist of what is the data set contains of. It contains all the following columns like time, V1 to V28. It contains only numerical input variables, which are the result of a PCA transformation. So what is exploratory data analysis, or EDA? EDA is an approach that is used to analyze the data and discover trends, patterns, or check assumptions in data with the help of statistical summaries and graphical representations, also called as visual representations. EDA is a process of describing the data by means of statistical and visualization techniques in order to bring important aspects of that data into focus for further analysis. This involves inspecting the dataset from many angles, describing and summarizing it without making any assumptions about its content. EDA in a data science task, it comes after problem definition. First, we define what the problem for the task is. We first define the problem statement. Then we get the data. Data mining means to get the data or to extract data from various sources. Then we prepare the data from the extracted data, and then we perform EDA on the prepared data. EDA is a very important step in data analysis, as it is mainly responsible for getting insights and getting various required information for model evaluation and model building and feature engineering. Types of EDA. There are many types of EDAs. The following are the given types of EDAs, like univariate, bivariate, multivariate. Univariate analysis, when the data consists of only one type of variable, it is a univariate analysis, like histograms as given below. Bivariate analysis is when the data consists of two types of variables, it is bivariate analysis, like scatter plot. And multivariate analysis, when the data consists of three or more types of variables, it is a multivariate analysis, like a cluster analysis. So steps in EDA. The first step is to summarize the key findings from the EDA or from the data set. We first summarize, we describe the shape of the data, we describe the info of the shape, data. We can use various functions in Python like df.head, df.describe for such things. Then we identify any outliers, missing values, and anomalies in the data. We filter the data, or we pre-process the data. And at the end, we visualize the data using appropriate charts and graphs. This can be done by using Seaborn and Matplotlib in Python. To perform EDA using Python libraries, we have first imported the following modules, like NumPy or NP, which is used for arrays, Pandas, which is used for various for removing outliers and various other things. sklearn, Matplotlib is used for plotting graphs, and Seaborn as well. Getting insights about the data set from such. Let's see the shape of the data first. We can do this by df.shape. Then we can use df.describe to describe the data, like the basic statistical computations on the data set, like extreme values, count of data points, and standard deviation. I will be showing this while performing the task. This is the first step. So then we will be handling missing values. So handling missing values is really important because sometimes the data contains missing values. Like it can occur when no information is provided for one or more items or for a whole unit. For example, suppose different users being surveyed may choose not to share their income in this way. Many datasets went missing. Missing data is a very big problem in real life scenarios. Missing data can also refer to as NA, not available values in pandas. There are various useful functions for detecting, removing, and replacing null values in pandas data frame, like a dot is null function, not null function, drop NA function, fill a, replace, interpolate, and many more. The screenshot on the right of the right is given shows the missing values of our data set, which luckily in this case is 0. So we have no missing values in the data set. But if we had missing values, then we have to remove the missing values first. Only then we can apply algorithms, because many algorithms like linear regression, logistic regression, they do not work when there are missing values. Then we perform data encoding. And there are some models like linear regression which do not work with categorical data set. So we have to convert, or we have to data encode the data set. In that case, we should try to encode the categorical data set into numerical column. We can use different methods for encoding, like label encoding or one-hot encoding. Example of label encoding is given below, where we have transformed the gender by using a label encoder or LE function. Then comes the data visualization part. Data visualization is the process of analyzing the data in the forms of graphs or maps, making it a lot easier to understand the trends and patterns in the data. We use Matplotlib and Sivin library for data visualization. Some of the most common data visualization methods are histogram. So an example of histogram is given. As you can see, it is like a bar graph, but it is connected, where the area or the height of the histogram shows the count in this case, where in x-axis we have the salary. It can be used for both a uni and bivariate analysis. We can also use box plot. A box plot is also known as whisker plot. Is created to display the summary of the data of set values having properties like minimum, first quartile, median, third quartile, and maximum. So an example of box plot is also again given, where on y-axis we have team like marketing, finance, client services, and on the x-axis we have various salary for each of the teams. There are various many more data visualization techniques like single line graph, or cluster and clustering. There are many more visualization techniques, and we can use any of them to visualize or gain information from the data set. At the end, we get handling outliers. An outlier is a data or item that deviates significantly from the rest of the objects. They can be caused by measurement or execution errors. The analysis for outlier detection is referred to as outlier mining. There are many ways to detect outliers, and the removal process of these outliers from the data frame is the same as removing a data item from the pandas data frame. So as in the figure, we can see that the green ones are the data set which we use to identify the model, or which use to predict the model or in the algorithm. And the remaining two data or items at the end are outliers. That means that these outliers are not really useful in our useful in a model generation, because they have various vague values and random values which might create anomalies in our algorithm. So for removing outliers, one must follow the same process of removing an entry from the dataset using its exact position in the dataset, because in all the above methods of detecting the outliers, and result is the list of all those data items that satisfy the outlier definition according to the method used. There are commonly three methods used. Dropping the outliers means we just drop the outliers when we remove it from the dataset, or Winsorized method, log transformation. In log transformation, we transform the dataset from like box plot to log. We use log methods to do so. To remove outliers, first we will create a box plot of the given data and identify the outliers. We can also use z-score or IQR. IQR is the most commonly used method, which means interquartile range. IQR is equals to quartile 3 minus quartile 1. So we have, in this case, we have used quartiles or IQR method. So in like, as you can see, Q1 gives the NP dot percentile or quartile 1, and Q3 gives the quartile 3. So IQR is equals to Q3 minus Q1. Here, first we have plotted a box plot of sample width column before outliers on the left hand side. And after removing the outliers, we get the box plot at the right hand side. So you can say that the box plot now is not so random, and is better for the approach of data science and data analysis. Solution. Now the user can handle missing, corrupted, null data from the dataset and perform various data visualization technique to visualize or objectify the data easily, so that the users can understand the data easily through graphs and pictures. Also, we can remove and handle outliers, which is necessary in AML projects and tasks. So now I'll be showing you the source code. I have already ran the source code. So these are all the required libraries we need to perform the EDA. At the end, we have used labels like normal and fraud, and this is the link of the data set, credit card, which credit card fraud detection. And we have used, this is the starting method, df.head, which gives us the top five data from the data set. So as you can see, we have a bit of gist of information about the data set. Then we use df.info to identify the basic information of the data set, and then df.describe. So df.describe gives you all the information that is required to identify. So this is df.info, which gives us the basic information like for v1, this is the value, it is non-null, and data type is float 64. So this is in case of df.info, and this is for df.describe. It gives us count, mean, standard, MIN, 25%, 55%, 75%, max for all the values. Then we have again used df.head just to get just a head part of the data set, and df.tail gets us the last 5 parts of the data set. So we have got the last 5 entries in the data set. Then we identify the null values. So we have used df.isNull.sum. So in this case, we have 0 null values. Again, df class.value counts. We have counted the amount of entries in the data set. Then df.shape again gives us the entries and the means how many entries are there and how many columns are there. So we have 31 columns and 284807 rows. So again, we have tried to find are there any null values in the columns. So as you can see, there are false. It shows false for all the columns. So there are no null values. So df.isNull.sum again comes out to be 0. Then we find the duplicated values. So print df.duplicated.sum finds us the duplicated values, which is 10881, and the below line gives us the duplicated count. So the amount of duplicated counts or the values gives us the duplicated sum. So then we have selected a V15. We can select any randomly, and then we have tried to find the unique numbers like for V1. So in it, a large amount of info is unique. Then we have used SNS. Like I said, that we will be using Seaborn and Matplotlib for plotting the graphs. Then we have plotted the df.v1 graph from count as y-axis and v1 as x-axis. So as you can see, it is more towards the 0 range for all the counts, and it is not really negative. And then again, we have tried to find the sum because we have used df.mean and we have done the in place as true. Then we will be using Matplotlib to figure out the data, and then we have constructed a line plot. So line plot is again one more technique, like I mentioned, box plot, and the other one was and other visualization techniques. So line plot is again a visualization technique. Here we have tried to find the line plot for the given data set. So the pink line, the various line gives us for all the V1 to V28 columns, and the line plot gives us the time when it is increasing from 0 to whatever the time it goes from. Then we have tried to find the histogram for the following. Like we have count classes equals to pd.value count. Then we have sorted the count classes. Then we have used the dot plot method, and kind is equals to bar, which is used for plotting a bar. So the X label is class and the Y label is frequency. So as you can see, at the X axis, we have normal, fraud, and at the Y axis, we have the frequency of amount of normal transactions or the fraud transactions. So fraud transactions are really less and normal transactions are way more than fraud transactions. So again, we have, like I mentioned earlier in the PPT, so we cannot use categorical data for data visualization. So we have, for fraud, we have done 1 is equals to 1. we are using a numerical value, and for normal you have done 0. So if a object or data item is fraud, then that means it will be given as 1, and for normal it will be given as 0. So again, fraud.shape comma normal.shape. So this is the shape of the fraud values, and this is the shape of the normal values. So we have now we want to describe various fraud functions. Like fraud.shape gives us 492 rows and 31 columns. So we have described those all the data items in the fraud. So which again gives us count of all the fraud data items: mean, standard, minimum, maximum, 25%, 50%, etc. Then we have again done the same thing for the normal values, and then we have used this. What we say, the data visualization technique or graph to identify the number of transactions. So the below one is for normal, which is really high, and the above one is fraud. Again, we have used plt.x label for amount, just like in the previous in histogram, like same. Then we have again find the data.shape, df.shape, the same thing. Now here outlier fraction or len fraud comma float len valid gives us the amount of outliers. So here we have tried to print the outliers. So the amount of outliers here is really less. So we don't need to worry about removing the outliers. As you can see, it is 0.00172. So the handling outliers doesn't come in this case. And at the end, we have used a heat map, or we have plotted the heat map to identify or to extract various information from the given data set. So again, EDA is a process really important and vital in data science, because it helps us to identify, gather information. It helps us to identify, gather information, and to perform various algorithms, and to create or develop a model, a deep learning model or a machine learning model or AI model or anything. We always have to perform EDA. In EDA, we remove the null values. We plot the graphs. We try to inference the information very easily. This is the driveling in references which I've used for the project or the task. And at the conclusion, we have successfully understood the EDA or exploratory data analysis process. We have removed null and missing values, constructed various graphs and plots to visualize the data, and finally removed the outliers from the credit card detection data set. Thank you.
Okay, so I hope that you are done with the presentation, right?
Yeah.
Can you see me?
Yes, sir.
And can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you for confirmation. Tell me the name of the task again.
EDA, exploratory data analysis.
EDA, is it just EDA or something else?
It is just EDA.
Okay, no issue. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. See, your presentation skills have improved from last time. Okay. Your actual, like, the presentation itself. So this doesn't include the demo, but the presentation. You did improve, but there is still, like, more like reading from the slides. So somewhere like you were reading mostly from the slide, but yes, you did try to explain. The explanations were good. They were certainly better from the last time. Okay. So your hook and story did got better, but there is still room for improvement. You can improve a lot. Okay. See, you have, like, talent for presentation, and you can improve. Like we can see from last 2-3 presentation, you are improving at, like, a good pace. So that is a good thing. But when it comes to the demonstration, you did explain like each step by step code wise, but it was like, not really well done, I would say. See, like at the end, you showed us that you got a heat map, right? So at that point, you should explain what that heat map is, and, like, what answer we are getting from that. Okay, like you said, okay, this is the heat map, and then you move around to the conclusion part or solution part. Okay, you came back to the PPT, but you should explain what is that heat map, what it is actually, like, giving us. And second thing is, when you are giving this kind of presentation, you can improve your story by, like, just telling me what was the thought process. So let us say, for example, I have a data set, like this is just an example, not related to this task, but just an example. So let us say I have a data set where I have the transaction ID, then the amount, and then the customer ID and the date and time stamp, right? So now
Yes, sir.
in that transaction ID and date timestamp will be automatically generated. Okay, like we can generate the timestamp whenever it is. It will be generated by computer. So there will be no null values, correct? Because it is being generated by computer, right? And also the transaction ID is also being auto generated. So there will be no null values. Amount will be also like, there will be no null values. There may be some like say a value that is zero. Okay, because like let's say you bought like an item and you get like one like get one buy one free, like
Yes,
those
sir.
kind of things. Then you will get like two items where one will have the price, another will be zero, right?
Mm.
And then there is like customer ID. Now there can be null values, correct? Let us say
Yes.
someone is paying with the credit card, their information will be like stored. Okay, right? Because someone is like, say, let us say I go to a store, I go there 3 times, I use my credit card, then they will have like this customer had paid with credit card 3 times. But maybe someone paid with cash. They will not have the customer ID, right?
Yes.
Because when we are checking
Yeah.
out, they will not ask for the customer ID. So in that scenario, do you think customer ID is really needed for my like when I'm finding something? It may be needed in some certain scenarios, right? So in that case,
Yeah.
I will not remove it like as a null values. I will not say that if it is a null value, I will not remove those data. I will like simply convert it to, let us say, other. So let us say when I'm finding customer wise, like how many customers have like actually purchased something, what was the frequency of customer buying some item, then I will have a like, other column which will say other, where it will have all the data where there will be null values, right? So let me know what is your thought process in while doing the EDA. So what you are trying to achieve and how you are like trying to achieve that. So in my case, I will not remove the null values, but in your case, you did remove some of the null values, right? I did
Yeah.
some. So what was the thought process behind that? I want to know that when you are doing your presentation. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
that is like, level of in-depth explanation I'm looking for. I'm not looking
Okay.
for, let us say you said, okay, null values, and then I got rid of the null values. Now this is the next step. This is not how you're supposed to do the data science presentation, right? In my scenario, I need what I'm trying to find. Let's see, I have the data set. I understood what my data is. Now what I'm trying to find is I can find like various things. Let us say with my date timestamp, I can find like at what time there is like more number of things are getting like people are buying at what time. And let us say if someone a particular customer is bought like multiple things, or what kind of things are being bought. So I can get that data, and based on that, I will plan if I want to remove null values, if I want to normalize the data, what kind of things are there, right? So I want your presentations to be like that, where you are telling me
Yes, sir.
what you are trying to achieve, how you will achieve it, and then show me in the code how you have achieved that thing. And then in the code itself, you will show me like what outputs you got, and you will explain it. And it is really important thing. Let us say when you are giving a presentation, many people are not really familiar with the data science, so they may not really understand what is going on, right? So it is important then wherever there is a graph, you are like explaining what that graph is, because many people, all of us, like from 8th or 9th class, 7th class, we have studied graphs, right? So if let us say it doesn't matter like your viewer is from which domain, let us say he's from cybersecurity or cloud computing or embedded system, he has studied graph and he will be more interested in knowing what that graph is. So let us
Yeah.
so it is important that you focus on that also. Okay, so
Okay,
whenever
sir.
there is a graph, explain it, right?
Okay.
Yeah, other than that, I would say much improvement with respect to your presentation. I have seen like really well done improvement from your side. Just focus on your project demonstration skills.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, then we will move on to if it was seen.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Is my video visible?
Yeah, yeah.
So, is my screen visible?
Yeah, it is visually visible.
So, good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. Today I'll be presenting on the topic analysis of the role of UI design in stock market trading application. So these are the contents that I'll be discussing. So first, it is demand for designing the application and solutions, the key principles and best practices of UI design, challenges and opportunities in designing a stock market trading application, and some findings and recommendations. First, let me move on to the demands for stock market, demands for the designing application. First one is responsiveness. So coming to the responsiveness, it means that the design should be compatible in both in all devices. That is from a small smartphone to a large screen desktop. Here, this is an example of the responsiveness of a stock market trading application. Here you can clearly see the interface is almost same in both, and they have uh, managed to design everything that is in a desktop to a small screen smartphone. So that tells about the responsiveness of the design. Next is, like in a stock market trading application, the user will analyze the chart. So what he requires is a set of tools, and that should be available to him at a glance on the screen. If every tools are available, then it will be easier for him to do the analysis. So here you can see all the tools have been placed here, or the tools menu has been placed there, which helps the user to do the analysis easier. And here also you can see the responsiveness of the design. That is, the same toolkit have been efficiently been designed in a smartphone as a drop-down menu. And here also you can get all the tools available, and also you can analyze the chart on the smartphone itself. Some other demands is like uh, having a all the complex features and functionalities, and it should be flexible as well. So these are the major demands of demands while designing an application. And also you can see in this example, there is a consistency in the design. In case of this tools menu also, you can see there is a consistency in the design. So it is another demand that should be maintained by a designer while designing an application. And all these demands can be fulfilled with an effective UI design. Now let's see some of the examples of UI design features for different devices. So first, when we come to smartphone or small devices, the main problem that arises is the navigation. The navigation takes more space in a small device. So what we can do is that we can categorize the contents that are present, and we can design a well-defined dashboard. Here you can see a small tab or dashboard is being designed, which has certain categories like watch list, orders, portfolio, and account. So here, when you click this watch list, you will get the contents that falls under the watch list category. And here, when you click orders, it will show the orders that the traders have used, and so on. So a well-defined dashboard is a better solution for this navigation problem in small devices or smartphones. Next, we have iPads or tablets. Here, the thing is, we have a big screen. So, but the user is using this device with his fingers. So the interactive control should be large. And coming to iPads or tablets, it has a big screen. So we can put in more data sets or tools. But the designer should keep in mind that the screen or design should not be overwhelmed with too much of details that makes it uncomfortable for the user to use. The designer's main aim should be to uh, maintain a user-friendly design. Now, coming to desktops, uh, we have a furthermore bigger screen. So the designer should pay attention for resizing and arranging the components. Here, I have given an example of an unorganized and organized panel. When you come to this, you can see we have taken equal amount of components or data sets here in both the screens. And here it is unorganized. When it is unorganized, you can see it takes up more space and it is kind of mess. And it makes it uncomfortable or difficult for the user to use it. And it makes it difficult for them to analyze the components. And coming to the organized panel, you can see that the same components have been organized very well, and you can see there are many more space available. And here you can add more components in, like more data or more details in this space available. But if you add the same amount of details to this unorganized panel, it will be like the point which I've explained earlier, like it will be overwhelmed with too much of details, which makes it difficult for the user to use. So designer should pay attention in resizing and arranging the components. Now coming to the key principles and best practices of UI design. So first point is consistency. Here I've given an example of a desktop screen and a smartphone screen of a trading application. So here you can see the consistency in the design. Here, when I was designing this, what I have used is I've created components. Like when I was selecting this color, I've created a color component and named it as theme color 1, so that I can use that same exact color whenever I need it in further design. Here, when I was designing the smartphone interface, I have used that same color component so that I can maintain this consistency. So when a design is consistent, it helps the user to switch between different devices, and that helps the design to be a user-friendly device, and it makes it easier for the user. Also, here while I was designing this rectangular component, I had made a note on this curvature which I've given, and I've used the same angle of curvature for every rectangle, which which makes the design more consistent. Now the second point is the simplicity and clarity. Come to simplicity and clarity, like when designing, the designer should focus on adding certain simple and clear labels and icons, which makes it easier for the user to understand what that icon is meant by. Here you can see a profile icon. So it is mainly the account settings, and it shows all the details of your trading account. Also here, where I designed this dashboard or this tab, I've given icons for all those categories. And here also I've given icons like funds, profile, app lock, everything I've given icons, which makes it easier for the user to understand it. Next is responsiveness. As I've discussed earlier, the design should be responsive. That is, it should be compatible in both in every devices, from a smartphone to a desktop screen. And in this example, it is clear about the responsiveness of the design, and it also shows that the design is consistent whether it is in a desktop or a smartphone. Next is efficient navigation. Efficient navigation is it should be easier for the user to navigate within the interface, so that it helps them to find out what they are searching for in an easier way. So the navigation should be efficient. That the proper example is this dashboard, or this tab or this tab, where you can switch between certain categories, and it helps in the user to find what they for in an easier way. So efficient navigation is also a key principle that should be practiced while designing an application. Next, let's discuss about certain challenges and opportunities that comes while designing or in a stock market trading application. So coming to the challenges, first we have data complexity. So in a stock market trading application, it deals with too much of data, like real-time stock prices, information on historical data, and many other market data. So all these should be regularly updated. So it is one of the major challenges in stock market trading application. Next is technical challenges. It mainly depends on ensuring reliability, stability, and data security. Now, coming to user, the challenge is that we have many many advanced technologies and functionalities. So the designer should maintain a balance between these advanced functionalities and simple and efficient user experience. So that is a major challenge for the designer. Now coming to the opportunities, first one is new trading strategies. With the new technologies, like we can create where we can establish new trading strategies with the help of vast data sets along with AI and machine learning. Now coming to mobile trading platform, like establishing mobile trading platform helps in easy accessibility to the trading applications. Now coming to high frequency trading, we have with the help of new technologies. Now the trades can be taken in within microseconds. So it increases the frequency of trading. So that is one of the opportunities available. And next is the opportunity in risk management with the help of stop loss orders and portfolio diversification and so on. Now I would like to present like a real-time example of a stock market trading application with effective UI design. So here I'm taking the example of Kite by Zerodha. So this is a perfect example of an effective UI design of a stock market trading application. Here you can see almost all features are being present here, which in a glance, and everything is well maintained and well arranged and all. So here you can see there's a space given for the watch list for the user to maintain his watch list. And here it is a graph of the selected stock. And within that graph, they have given the chart types, the time frame, the tool sets, the cursor, and so on. It is the most efficient UI design which I have seen in the stock market trading application. And there's a tab provided which I have discussed earlier for an efficient navigation. And here there's user account settings is given, and different watch list numbers are also given. Now, I would like to discuss about some of the findings and recommendations. Coming to this, what I have come across is that any application to be successful, the ease of using the application is the major feature which makes an application successful. So fast adoption of the application mainly depends on the interface design. So it should be efficient as well as simple, and it should contain all the advanced features and the complex features. So based on a study which have taken feedback from many users, it says that the first preference is given to the ease of the use feature of the application. And the second preference is mainly given to the investment analysis and information features. So this study which I've told is study based on the stock market trading applications. They have taken feedback from the users who are using the stock market trading applications. So based on that, the second preference was given to the investment analysis and the information features. And the third preference is given to security and privacy, because it contains many personal data of the user, his account data and all. So the security and privacy is very much important. So based on what I have read and analyzed, what I have to recommend is that the designer should have a proper understanding of the human psychology. He should know what color, what type of color, what type of font, what font size. The designer should know all this, like what type of all these things are more appealing to the users. Then only the application will be like there should be success in the application, and there will be more users for the application. So it is important for the designer to understand the human psychology. Now, second point is consistency in design. As I've discussed, consistency is very important because it helps the user to switch between the devices. But with the help of consistency, it will make the design easier for the user to use, and establishes a user-friendly application. Next, there should be regular update to the design features. The design features should be regularly updated so that it's in improvising the design, and like it will that like in a way that it should attract the users. Now the user experience feedback. So the final point which I have to say is that there should be a space provided for the users to give feedbacks, so that depending on the feedback, the designer can improve the design and maintain those designs which are liked by users. So these are all the analysis of the role of your design which I have made. So these are the references from which I have taken the information. If you have any questions, you can ask. If not, thank you. Here I conclude. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I hope can you show me your PPT again?
Sorry.
Can you show me your PPT?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Go to first page.
Sir, which
The
slide?
first.
First slide.
Yeah. Is this the name of your task?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure? Can you tell me the name of the task again?
Yes, sir. Like it is
Analysis.
conduct an analysis of the role of UI design in stock market trading applications.
Okay, sure. Yeah, thank you for confirming. Okay, so go to next slide. Go to next one.
Next slide.
Yeah, go to next one. Okay, so you were supposed to give me examples on like you were supposed to do the research on UI design for stock market application. You were supposed to give example and also do a case study on the other like already existing websites, right?
Sure.
And
Yes,
then
sir.
at the end you will give me the recommendations. Is that correct? And also you
Yes, sir.
will provide, I believe, provide visual examples, references where appropriate. Okay. So in the demo part, you are also supposed to give me some kind of mock-ups or visual example like what you are trying to achieve. Is that correct? You need to also give me that. Okay, like you need to create a wireframe or mock-up of your like what you are like thinking based on your recommendation, and you need to provide it. That is what we will consider in the demo part, but there was nothing like that, I think. Okay. So demo part will not be
It's
considered.
like this one I've designed based on my recommendations, but I haven't presented it as a demo.
No, you need to create your own like mock-ups or wireframe. Just a simple wireframe. Okay.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah, like based on your
Got it.
recommendation. Okay, like this is the example that we are taking. Okay. So can you tell me, have you used like any kind of stock trading application previously?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then what was your first thought process? What you are trying to achieve? When you
So I
go
was
to a
trying.
stock trading application, what you are trying to do?
What I'm trying to, I'll analyze the chart, sir. Like analyze the chart of every stock in my watch list, and I'll do the required technical analysis using the tools, and I'll find the entry and exit points.
So let us say you have a stock,
Trade.
right? And suddenly
Yes, sir.
you like you are like watching the news and everything. You thought that okay, the stock price is like going down, and you need to sell it as soon as possible. What steps will you take?
So if I'm holding the stock, I'll go to my holding section and I'll exit the trade,
Okay.
either in a market price or in a limit as a limit order.
And let us say when you are trying to search a stock.
So I'll search it in this search bar. Like I'll write the name of the company whose stock
Okay.
is there, whose
Okay.
stock which I need to trade or invest.
Okay. 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 So this was for your Q&A. Okay. So Q&A is good, and your PPT is also good. Okay, I can see that. Okay. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
okay, now I see examples were good. The examples that you have provided, your research is good, but your recommendations are not good. Okay, so like in the recommendation, you have said like we will use human psychology and everything, consistency in design, regular updates in design, feature, user experience, and all that. These are not like good recommendation. They are too vague, I would say. Okay, we need more in-depth recommendation. Now, let's say when you say we'll use human psychology, what does that mean? Okay, you need to like be more specific, like what you are trying to achieve. in the examples, like as you said, like what are the, like, let us say there is a certain, a scenario. So how your design will help your users. Okay. We want our users to have a good user experience, like, right. And a good user interface will help us, help you do that. Okay. So give me a scenario where you can use them. Just saying we will use human, human psychology in the recommendation is not a good recommendation. Be more specific. And then when you say consistency is design, that can be part of the human psychology. So let us say when the design is consistent, it is easier on eyes. Like, and a user can like easily follow your entire, when he is like going through your website, he can easily know what is going on. He can easily follow it. Right. So that is why consistency is
Yes, sir.
important. It looks good to the eyes. Let us say you have multiple pages, and let us say your first page is in the dark mode, the next page is in the light mode. That will not be a good thing, right? So the consistency
Yes,
will
sir.
help you there. And then when you say regular update in design feature, that is not a good thing, because as I said, so let us say when I'm trying to quickly sell my stock, I have my brain thinks that okay, in the navbar I have the holdings. The moment I click on the website, I will go to navbar, I will click on holdings and then try to sell it. When you regularly change, make updates in websites like stock market or trading application, it will become really hard for users to navigate or understand what is going on. Because see, when you are dealing with money or something like that, your websites doesn't needs to be a consistency. There should not be much changes, so that user can find it really easy. Okay, so let's say I'm like panicking, like, okay, the stock is falling. If I don't sell it in a minute, I will lose money, right? So I want to always have holdings where I have previously. So previously, let us say the holding was in the Nava, and next time when I visit, I want it there so that I can quickly go there. You need to think it with respect to the user, like what should there be. And when you say regular updates in design feature, that is a good thing. But let us say it should be implemented where people are not really visiting. So let us say
Yes.
recently there was I studying a case study on Windows, right? So when you go on Windows and you type control panel, right, then you will see that icons and everything, they have not changed from last 10 years. In Windows 7, in Windows 8, Windows 10, the icons are same for the the control panel, the old control panel. We have the new control panel. You can see the settings menu in the Windows 10 or Windows 11, but there is also a old control panel, right? So the
Yes, sir.
things are not changing. Why? Because they are regularly updating the UI for things that users are regularly visiting. So let us say a taskbar is something like everyone will visit every day. So you will see there are major UI changes in that area only. Okay, now that is because a lot of people are visiting there, but you will see lot of Windows whenever there is a new Windows. People so on Reddit or Twitter you must have seen that Windows 10 is the best one. Okay, and previously people said Windows 7 is the best one because they get used to a design, right? And then suddenly a design changes, they criticize the the UI designer. Some people like Windows 11 design, some people like Windows 10 design. Why? Because some people are got used to Windows 10 one. Windows 11 after implementing in the next feature, they change the start menu to left side again. They have added a feature where you can bring it to left side. Why? Because people are telling them to add it to left side because they like it that way. Right. Now it is again
They are
similar to
used to.
Windows 10, and if you change the design feature, people will blame you. So don't make changes in where lot of people are going there. You can make changes. Let us say if there is some kind of bug. So let us say when I'm seeing a chart, there may be times when I want to zoom in or zoom out on the chart. So make sure that you are making updates on that chart to improve the user experience, right? And then when you say user experience feedback, that is a good thing. We can get that. Let us say I believe recently the 2 or 3 years ago, Reddit had a new, the user experience. But there is also a old.reddit.com. You can visit their old site and see how it is different. They took a lot of user feedbacks. They kept the old one also and new one also. Now people are slowly transitioning to it. So feedbacks are good, but you need to provide what kind of feedbacks you want. in a lot of like in chat GPT, let's say we have example, you can thumbs up an answer, right? You must have, if you have used, then you can thumbs up an answer, or say Bing chat, you can thumbs up answer. So in your design, you can add a simple thumbs up button that is transparent, that is not really making standing out. When user is extremely focused on somewhere, then only you will see that thumbs up. Let us say it is transparent, and if he likes it, he can give a thumbs up on that. So you will get a friend. You can use things like that. But when you say that you have recommendation like that, you need to be more specific, like what you are trying to achieve with this recommendations, right? So what we are trying to do. Let us say when I said human psychology, lot of things I have said, you need to give me recommendation like this so that I understand what you are trying to achieve, right? These things that doesn't clearly tell me what you are trying to achieve. Recommend your recommendation. So you need to work on your recommendation. And again, for the demo, create a simple mock-up or a wireframe. It can be made on a a drawing paper or a Figma. Like wireframe is what you just need to take a pencil and then you need to tell me, okay, on my website, this will be I will place the chart in this area. The navbar will be in this area. That's it. Take a photo and upload it in the PPT. Let me know the wireframe or not. Okay, because this kind of task you only need to do that much. So you can do that. You can make a mock-up and then upload it in a technical support chat. Let them know that I have told you. You will check and that's it. Okay. Other than that, I would say it was great. The research was really well done from your side. Examples were also given. You also did explain really well the case study on Zigoda, I believe. That was a good thing. But again, work on your recommendations and actual what you are trying to achieve, right?
Yes, yes, sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Sivin.
Sir, actually, sir, for the past 2-3 days, I'm not able to access the technical support.
What error you are getting?
Like, it is showing it is offline and no one is responding.
Yes, offline. Yeah, so maybe
Yeah.
they are on leave. Okay, I will ask Devanshu sir. If they are on leave, then it will be offline. But it is Monday to
Okay.
Friday, you can try. Okay, but if they are on leave, it will be offline.
Sir, also last Saturday I've requested for new task, but it haven't been assigned yet.
Okay, you need to click on new task again. Okay, just give me your email
Yeah,
in the
sir.
chat. I will forward it to Devanshu sir.
Okay, so can I share the screen once again? I have to show one mail regarding that.
Yeah, sure, you can share.
Like, I've got a mail, like it was. So here, what they have written is, we have received your request to assign new task. With request ID this, but then the content is about presentation. So the
Yeah,
new task has
so
not been allotted yet.
no, when you click on new task, they have scheduled your presentation because see, your task was to give presentation, right? So now you have given the presentation, I will forward it, then they will assign
Okay.
you new task, right? Because to get
So
a
I
new
have to
task, you
click
need to complete the
new
previous
task
one.
again.
No,
Okay, sir, sure.
you will get it if you don't get it by tomorrow, right? So let me know. I will forward to Devanshu sir, but wait till tomorrow.
Okay, so okay, sir, fine.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Then Muskan Verma.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, can you turn your camera?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me name of your task?
So it's a create a database and web service for doctor search website.
Are you from database team?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure, Prashant.
Okay, sir. So is my screen visible?
Yeah, it is.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Muskan Verma. I am from Database Administrator Group, and today I will be presenting on the topic database and web service for the doctor search website. So this will be the content of the presentation. First, we'll talk about the project and the task. Then we'll move ahead what is database and what is web service. Then we'll talk about what was the process that I implemented for creating this task. Then it will have a demonstration of the task, then resources, followed by conclusion, and then question answers. So the project was to create a doctor search website database. Here the website, doctor search website, is mainly created to find doctors in a particular area. And in this task, we have created a database and web service for this website. And we have also tested the web service in Postman application. So let's talk about what is database. A database is an organized collection of data. That is, we have all the data which is collected somewhere, and that place, storage is known as database. And the main purpose of this database is to operate large amount of information. As we know, we are having a lot of data in today's world. So we need database to operate it and drive information from it. In this task, I have created a database in MySQL, which have the following schema. First, we have the database, which having a name of doctor search, which have one table, that is the doctor's table, and which have 5 attributes, that is the doctor ID, doctor name, the city of the doctor state, and its specialty. Then moving ahead to what are web services. A web service is a software system that supports interoperable machine-to-machine interaction over a network. Talking about web service in our website, so we can take example that we have to find the we are sending a doctor request from front end. Then the web service we have created, which we have created in PHP, will go to database and find the detail of the doctor and then forward it back to the front end. So this is basically the work that web services do. Then coming to the thinking process that I followed, as soon as I received the task, the first thing that was clear in my mind was that I wanted to create a database. After creating a database, I wanted to create a web service and connect it to the database. Then I went on and deployed the database and web service on a web hosting site. And at last, I tested the web service, if it is working correctly or not. Then here is a demonstration of the database that I have created. It would be better if we just switch to MySQL Workbench, actually. So if you can see, this is the MySQL Workbench. And here is the doctor search database that we were talking about. And if we see, here is the table, doctor's table. And this is the database I have created with almost 20 entries. This has the doctor ID, doctor name, doctor city, state, and specialty. Then, as I said, we moved on to creating the web service. Here I've created the web service in PHP file. First of all, we are creating this variables and using the post function to collect data from the user. Then we are checking if we have received the data or not, and then moving forward by making a connection to the database. Here I've in line 10, I've made the connection to the database. And then I have written the SQL query. And then I have created a loop for collecting all the data, all the rows. You can say, because there is possibility that there are many doctors from one area. So I have created a while loop here so that we can collect all the data of all the doctors. And then we have used echo function to print the data. Then, as I said, I have to deploy this on the web host site. So here I created a website. And if we go to manage, let it load. took a lot of time. We'll go to the file manager. And here you can see that is the doctor's database that we have deployed here. And this is the web service, which we have also uploaded. Then moving on to the testing of the site, we have used Postman application for it. This is the Postman application. If you see, I have created a collection here for Doctor Search website. And I'm creating a collection because sometimes we need to test more than one web service or API. That's why I created a collection here. So if we go here, you can see this is the first request that I have set up. That is localhost web service.php. Here we have taken the two parameters, the city and the state, and we have given the value Mumbai and Maharashtra. And if we go to send, you'll see we'll receive the response here. Here, this is the doctor's ID. The doctor's name is R.N. Patel, specialty cardiologist. And then we have the result and message that the doctor has been fetched successfully. In cases that there is no doctor found in that particular area, for example, let's see here that city, we have taken Ahmedabad and state is Gujarat. And if we send, you'll see the result is false, that we have no doctor found in that particular area. So this was the demonstration. Moving back to the PPT. Here I've just attached some screenshots that I just showed and a small video of the demonstration that I just of the testing of the web service. Then we'll move to the resources. These are the resources that I used for this task. Thank you. And in conclusion, I want to say thank you for the great opportunity. I got to learn a lot about testing APIs, which I didn't know earlier. And if you have any questions, you can ask me.
Yeah. So I hope your presentation is done.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first of all, include the the conclusion slide. You did give me conclusion, but there was no conclusion slide, right?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, so make sure that you include the conclusion slide. And now moving on to see your explanation was good, but it can be improved. Okay, so it can be more in depth. The story was good. The way you did your presentation, I think the flow of your presentation was really well done, I would say, but content can be improved. So let us say when you can you go to the slide where you said you have steps, like you have 4 steps creating.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So here now you can explain it much better. So let us say when you say creating database, first focus on like what is the client requirement. Right? So client requirement is to create a database where we can store the doctor data. And your task also include creating a simple API to get that doctor's data, right? Now, how the data, which data will be we will take and everything that can be we can see from the input itself, right? So based on input, we will get the data. Now, you can get a lot of things from that. Now, let us say when you say creating a database, you can say we are creating database for doctors and what is the requirement. So in requirement, we want the name of doctor, right? Then what is the area where he resides? What is what is his operation area? What is his specialty? Some general information about him. And then what are some other things about him? Let us say we have name, info, area. And what was there? Is there anything else? Or I think only 3 information?
So there was a doctor's ID, which was the primary.
Doctor ID is not something get from the client. We are discussing the client requirement. So there is only 3, right? So name, info, and area, right?
Yes, sir.
And now the user input will be name and the area. Okay, but when you get that request and when you are giving that data, exporting that data, to back to the front end, you will also give the info. In the front end, we will have the name, area, and info showed to the end user, right? So now you will take two inputs and return three things, that is name, info, and area. Now you need to create database based on this information. So based on this, simply we will create one table that will be doctor's table. And now tell me more specific things. So let us say when you say ID, what that ID will? That ID will be primary key, right?
Yes.
It will be auto increment and it will be not null, right? And it will be unique, right? So you need to tell me this information because ID cannot be same for two different doctors, right? And it can also not be null because we are getting the information using the ID, right? In your PHP API. So this needs to be cleared, and then now you will move on to the various other things. Let us say name, info, and area. Like what will be the data type for that and how you are creating, because see, it is important. So do you know the difference between text and the varchar?
So I said text and what?
Varchar, varchar, WARCHAR.
No, sir.
Then do some research on that. You will realize do some research and do research your thought process while doing the research should be to find out which is good for performance, right? So based on that, what kind of data you have, you can improve the performance if you select the correct data type, right? Like when you are selecting the varchar, then what should be the length of the valid length. Let us say a name can not be more than 50 character long, right? Or let us say 100 character long. These are important things if you want to improve the performance of your database, right? So you need to give me this information also, so that we know that whatever database and table you are creating, it is giving good performance as well as it is getting the correct data, right? We have what let us say in future if I have some kind of problem, then the database will see what is the problem with the database, right? So if the database is not created correctly, if we don't have good documentation on the database, so let us say when you create a database, you also need to document it so that the backend developer or someone is working on the API, they can also work with the database. Because they have not created the database, you have created the database, right? So it is important that you are explaining this and you are documenting it, right? Next thing is when you are creating API, now the API part direction was just to give you simple exposure on what is backend and how the API and database everything works. Right? You have done it really well explained. The PHP code was there, really well explained. But again, you can use a flowchart to show how the code is working, right? So that is more preferable. It looks much better. And people who are coming from non-coding background, they can also easily understand what is going on if you have flowcharts. Right? That is just most preferable, but it is good. Whatever was that, it was good. Then coming to what else was that? Yeah, the conclusion part. As I said, include the PPT. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have one question.
Yeah, sure.
Sir, actually, I posted a request for new task. And
Yeah.
I have received two tasks simultaneously.
Yeah.
With the same deadline.
Yeah, sure. Then what you can do is you can start with the task number one, that one you have received first, complete it, give the presentation, and then start with the task number two. If you have problem with the deadline, you can contact in the technical support chat. Let them know that you want to extend deadline for the second one because you received two tasks at the same time, right? They will solve the issue.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So
sir.
you can directly tell me and let me know if you will take time to make presentation for the next time because of deadline issue. I will take your presentation based on that.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you, sir.
then yeah, thank you, Muskan. Then Anuska.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, you can start. Can
Sir,
you tell me
is my
name of
screen
your
visible?
task? Yeah, it is visible.
Sir, my task name is Develop Hackveda Business Operations Scripts in Python.
Okay.
So good evening, everyone. Myself Anuska Mahtre from Python Developers Group, and my task name is Develop Hackveda Business Operations Scripts in Python. So what we are going to see today is that Google crawler and simple email service using Gmail SMTP. So what is basically a Google crawler? Google crawler is a program used by Google to explore and collect information from websites all over the internet. We use different websites, means we actually explore different websites and come on the most relevant information from all that. Google crawler is used to automatically discover and scan websites by following links from one web page to another. This means that the web pages are interlinked with each other, and we get the relevant, means best information which we are searching for according to the importance of that pages. So why do we need a Google crawler? Google crawler is needed for providing relevant search results. When users search for specific information or keywords, the search engine uses the index to find the most relevant web pages and display them in the search results. The second is indexing web pages. Web crawler collects information from web pages and creates an index to quickly retrieve relevant information when users perform a search query. And the third is ranking and sorting pages. Web crawlers help search engines rank and sort pages based on their importance and usefulness. So, in short, why do we need a Google crawler is that when we give a search query to the Google, then it will give us the most relevant pages by its importance of pages, like from ranking and indexing of those pages. The libraries which I had used in this task is request library, pandas library, and JSON library, and custom API for custom search Google API. Implementation of this is these are some of the libraries. Request library I have used for HTTP request in Python. Pandas to represent the data in tabular format like rows and columns. JSON for data representation during transmission like incoming and outgoing of a network. And date time to for date and time when the website was uploaded. Here I had created a list where the questions will be asked by the user, and the keyword which means which query the user want to give. Then for website search, I had used these two websites, Quora.com and Reddit.com, which will be searched in a loop. This is the Google URL where I had given a key file from Google custom search, and from this I will get a response. This response will be a JSON response, and this will be stored as a in a tabular format. So let me show you. Yeah. Now, suppose I am a user and I want to search for Python interview questions. It will give me a list of Python interview questions which are usually asked. This is the importance, means which question will be certainly asked in a sequence. Then I will export this file as a CSV file. This file will be exported in my folder. Here it is, Python interview questions, which will be a CSV file, and I can also download it. Something like this. Uh, My next task was a simple email service using Gmail SMTP. Simple email service using Gmail SMTP is a tool through which we can directly send mail to the client just by running the code, and we don't need any human interaction in this. SMTP stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. It is a protocol used for sending emails over the internet. The libraries used are SMTP library and MIME, multipurpose internet mail extension. Its implementation is these are the libraries: import SMTP library, and from MIME I had exported these MIME multipart, MIME text, MIME base, and encoders from email. This will be the email content which will be shown when I send a email. We have to give sender address, sender password, and receiver address to send a mail through SMTP. Then we will create a SMTP session for sending the mail, where we have to give the login details of the sender and sender address and sender password. Then we have to attach this text which we have mentioned earlier here. Then we have to give the sender address, receiver address, and text, and then we will quit this session. And when the mail is sent, we will print this message as mail sent to whoever is the receiver. So I will run this code. Yeah, we received a message that mail is sent to this email ID. Now we will check in the mailbox. Here it is. And this is the text which I had got from this mail. These are the references which I had used for my task. Thank you. Question and answer.
Can you show me your PPT?
Yes.
Go back. Go back. So you need to add a proper conclusion slide. Okay. There is no conclusion slide. You need to work on that. The QA was okay. Again, see, your demonstration was really well done, I would say. It was really well explained. But when it comes to the actual presentation, you need to work a lot. Okay. It was not in depth. Okay. We need more in depth explanation. Let us say when you say Google Flores or how it works and everything, but you are mostly just reading from the slide. And again, go to next slide. Go to next one. Next one. Previous one. Yeah, this one. So here you have like SMTP, live and everything. So you can explain what these libraries are, why we actually need them, right? This can be included in your presentation, and also like include how SMTP works, how the Google crawler works to make it more in depth. Doing a task is one thing, giving a presentation on is other thing, right? So when you're giving presentation, you need to do more in depth, the research on that. Because let us say if one of the viewer asks you like how the SMTP works and how these things are working, why we are using SMTP, why not some other protocol, right? So you should be able to answer these things, right? Because in presentation we are expecting you, in the task we are not expecting, because in task we have told you to use SMTP, right? Yeah. So do more research on that and work on your presentation skills. Okay. The demo was really well done. So keep up with the demo. Yeah. Thank you, Anuska. Then we
Thank
will
you.
move on to Prassana. Yeah. Thank you, Anuska.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You have raised your hand. You have presentation.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Can you turn your camera on first?
Yes, sir.
Turn your camera. Yeah. Tell me the name of your task.
Sir, my task was wait a minute. Sir. Yeah. Sir, is my screen visible?
Yeah, it is.
Yes, sir. Actually, myself, I'm Lakshmi Prasanna from Web Developers Group, sir. So my task was doctor search website.
Okay, you can start.
Okay, sir. My task was doctor search website. So let us go through this. And overview, what is the overview of my website? That is introduction and what were the tools and techniques used to create this website. and how actually it works, and demonstration and references and the conclusion. So let us go through the introduction first. Actually, what is the doctor's website? It is a website where we can access the information about the doctors according to the category and the location. And why only the search website? Because it is time saving, and we can get the information within the seconds, and we can access it from anywhere. So this was the introduction of my website. And next is tools and techniques were used to design this website. So first is Figma. Figma is nothing but it used in many of the applications like web applications and mobile applications. Here I have used to design the prototype. So let us see my prototype. So here, this is my prototype, which I have designed using the Figma. And let us go to the next part, that is Locofy. So how I have converted that is prototype design into the HTML and CSS code. So with the help of Locofy app, I have converted that design into a code. So let us look into that also. So here is the Locofy app. So here it has a export. With the help of this, we can download the CSS and HTML files. And next is web host. Web host is used for the hosting the website. And how it have been done, like like after exporting the files from the Locofy app, we have to upload those files in the web host. So it just makes our website public by giving the link or so these were the files I have uploaded from the Locofy app, which I have exported using the Locofy app. And next is MySQL. So with the help of SQL, I've made a database. So let us make that also. So this is the database which I have entered the information regarding the doctors and the category and the experience and the location. And next is PHP. Actually, PHP is a language which interacts with the database. I mean, it works on various operations like querying or inserting. So this is PHP. And jQuery means it's nothing but it connects the front end with the back end. And next one is Postman. Postman is nothing but testing the web service. So let us look into that also. Here is the Postman app. So it is the post. Post is nothing but it's a form of request. It reloads the data from the server using HTTP post method. So we can see here the search and area at the search parameters. And next is general physician and Baga are the values of created keys. So let us check the website was working properly or not. So after clicking on the search, so here we can see that the doctor name, that is Alok, and doctor information like experience, and the image is in the form of link, and this was the thing. And we can also change the location like Ranchi. So here it was again showing the doctor information like their name and the experience and their image also in the form of a link. So this was the tools and techniques which I ever used to create this website, and how actually it works. Like after clicking the search button, I mean entering the information regarding the doctor's like location and the category, it just make the request from the backend using the jQuery, and with the help of database, we can fetch the data, and that can be transmitted through the web service through the background, and that can be collected with the help of jQuery and displayed on the front end. And this was a demonstration of my created website. So here it was my website. So let us search for general physician, and location is Ranchi. So here you can see the doctor's information like their experience. And next Next place like Dhanbad. So you can also see the doctor's information in the Dhanbad. And so this was my demonstration of my website. And next is references. These were the references I have used for making the website. And conclusion, yes, I have learned a lot of things by doing this task, and also it just built a lot of confidence that I can also create a website. And thank you. Contact for any queries.
I hope you are done with your presentation.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so first of all, I don't think you have a Q&A slide, a question answer slide. So you don't have a question answer slide.
Yeah, sir, I have written here contact for any query.
No, you need to have a dedicated Q&A slide. Okay.
Okay,
And you
sir.
need to also like ask the your viewers if anyone has any questions. Okay, that is a good thing. Other
Okay,
than
sir.
it is good that you have contact for any queries, you have given your contact. That is a good thing, but that should be on the end side. Okay, and you have that is good.
Okay, sir.
The conclusion can be improved. We don't give conclusion like I can also make a website. That is not a good conclusion. Conclusion should be like based on your task. Okay, so give conclusion based on your task, not you. You can like give your ending note on the thank you slide. Right, that should be including that thank you slide, not your conclusion slide. So work on your conclusion part. And now see your demo was really well explained, I would say. Okay, you can improve your project demonstration skills, but it is expression is good, but the way you have given the demo, that is not really a good thing. And again, see your explanations were there, but there were like, not that in depth. We need more in depth explanation. So let us say when you have Figma design and the demonstration itself, you need to explain your designs, why you have chosen the designs, what you like achieve from those designs. Now and then most of the other thing like you have MySQL and PHP, jQuery, everything like what they are actually doing. What is their role in your task? Okay, so let us say you receive a task from Dr. Search website. Now you have the task, you have a client requirement. So based on that client requirement, what you understood, and then the tools that you have used, how they are like helping you achieve what your task, right? What you are trying to achieve, how they are helping you. You need to explain it like that. When you explain the Figma part, you need to explain your design part. When you explain the Locofy part, explain like when the code was auto-generated from Figma, what you understood from the exported code, how you can work with that. Then explain the like 00 web host, what it is, how it is working, and how you will use it. Next, in the MySQL part, you can explain based on the client requirement what database should be there, what tables should be there, how they should be built. You can be more in depth on the tables. Okay. And for the PHP part, you need to explain the code, like how the code is working, how you are getting the input, showing the output, how the jQuery is helping you doing that, right? And then in the deployment part, you will show your actual deployed code where you will explain like everything, like your actual input and output part. And I noticed in your 000 web host website, the doctor list is coming like in like I think vertical format, right? It should be horizontal. You need to use CSS property float left.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so fix that.
Okay, sir.
Okay, other than that, I would say it was good. You do have a good explanation skills, but it needs to be more in depth. Right?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Then we'll move on then. So thank you, Prassana. So is there anyone else for the presentation? Because I don't see any more raised hand, and I think a lot of people have already left. So if you have, so Imran and Sonu, if you have any questions or you want to do presentation, raise your hand. Else we can conclude the session. Yeah, Imran. Yes, Imran. Now turn your camera.
Sir, I will make a project on stock market applications, but I cannot code it. So I can represent in
Can you tell me the name of your task?
stock market application.
Are you from which group?
Java developer.
Wait, let me check. Okay, so in Java developer, you have a overview of project synopsis. Is that correct?
Sir, in this task,
The name of the task. You are, I think, telling me the name of project, that is stock market application. What is the name of task? Is it overview of project synopsis?
in which task
Uh,
code are in?
तुम्हारे टास्क का नाम क्या है? प्रोजेक्ट का नाम है स्टॉक मार्केट एप्लीकेशन, राइट?
Yes, sir.
स्टॉक ट्रेडिंग एप्लीकेशन, तो वो प्रोजेक्ट का नाम हुआ ना, तो टास्क का नाम क्या है तुम्हारा?
Task का नाम यही है।
क्योंकि स्टॉक ट्रेडिंग एप्लीकेशन के अंदर बहुत सारे टास्क है, छोटे छोटे, ठीक है, हमने उनको अलग अलग कर दिए ताकि प्रोफेशनल लेवल इंटर्न्स भी कर पाए। तो वो फाइंड करो कि टास्क का नाम क्या है, तो फिर मैं तुम्हें बताता हूँ कि क्या कर सकते हैं, ठीक है?
1 second.
या एक बार चेक करके बता दूँ।
Sir, I am audible.
या यही बोल।
Some task name is overview of project synopsis.
Okay, I got it. Okay, so in overview of project synopsis, stock trading application, see, okay, let me just check and I will tell you.
So in this task, I only represent in simple presentation.
What you need to do is you need to create a professional project presentation on the basis of synopsis, deliver the presentation. So you just need to give me presentation on it. So what you need to is, let me just read it and then I will tell you. See, the stock trading application is software application that runs by the application is built using Java and it's intended for popular stock market. The primary goal of stock trading application. Okay, so what you need to do is you don't need to code the entire application. Okay, you just need to do research on the stock trading application and let me know how you will build that stock trading application, right? So what process you will follow. You can also create simple wireframe and mockups and also like simple things like how you will get that data. So let us say you have NSE and BSE data, right? So you can like get that API or data set. You can like do simple things with that. You don't need to code it. Just give me like how you will create the stock trading application. Okay, you need to do research and do the research so that in future, if I tell you to code that website, you will be able to follow that and code the website. Okay, so do your research. Find out how you will code that website, how the website will work based on the requirement that you have been provided. Right. So read the requirement, understand it, and then based on that, so let me know, create a presentation like how you will create that website or how you will create that software. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, you just
Sir,
need to create a simple mock-up.
I made a simple presentations. Can I show?
You need to first click on schedule presentation. When you will be scheduled, then you can start, right? If you want to get a review, then you can show me the presentation. I can tell you like what are the changes you can do.
Sir, oh, another Imran can unmute it because it connect on mobile. This.
Yeah, sure. You can do that.
Sir, I am audible. Sir, I am.
Yeah, you are audible. Yeah, you can share the screen.
Okay, sir. Sir, I am unable to share my screen.
So the sharing setting is on. Try it. You can share your entire screen.
Sir, I will share it through the entire screen, but I am unable to share it. I does not click on share option.
I think you need to select the window also, like which window you want to select, then the share option will be available. Yeah.
Sir, I will first made a own presentation on stock
You
market
can scroll down.
application.
Just scroll down.
And these contents are introduction, objective algorithm,
Scroll down.
software, and
Wait, just scroll down. I will. Wait here. Okay, scroll down.
so in this
Okay, wait.
objectives of this
Research customer. Scroll down.
algorithms are used for making stock market applications.
Okay, scroll down.
In this presentation, sir,
Scroll down. Yeah, scroll down now. Scroll down. First of all, you have a lot of
last
text in your presentation. Reduce the amount of text that you have. Okay, make it point wise. Okay, you can, like, the text that you have written, you can speak that during your explanation. No need to include it in the presentation itself. Only include the necessary points, right? And also, it is really small. Make a separate slide for the front end. Have 2-3 slide where you are explaining the front end, like what you are trying to achieve, what is the client requirement, what other components will be there in the front end, right? For the back end, you can, like, you have only one option, that is Java, because you are from Java developer, right? So say that you are using Java. Like, explain some frameworks, which frameworks we can use for charting and everything. Explain like which framework we are going to use, say D3 or chart.js library, right? And then instead of algorithm, explain like what will be the data flow. So let us say when I visit your website, how the user will interact, and based on that, how you will create that website, right? So explain that
yes,
in like letter slides, like how things will work. Explain like you have a lot of information. Based on those information, explain like how you will create a website. So when you create a presentation in future, if you look at your presentation, you should be able to create a website. It should be on that level. The research should be done on that level, right? So do some
yes,
more research and try to more, like, practical things. Include more practical things in your presentation. I can see you have included a lot of things, like just you have included it, but they are not good. Okay, make it more practical. So let us say when you are creating that website, how you will create it, what are the things you are going to use, and then only include those parts. Let us say if you have included D3JS, do you know D3JS? You simply don't know, right? So make it at level that something that you can use, explore some more things, right? And then you can also say that we need more time. We need this much amount of time to work on front end, this much amount of time to work on back end, right? It should be like that. This is the not good representation. Okay, fix it. Also, lot of text is there. It is always a bad thing to include that many text. I can just say that you are just going to simply read it from the slide. The amount of text you have, I can simply like predict it. Okay, so reduce the amount of text you have.
Okay, sir.
You have points, just keep the point, remove the text. You can add notes, you can like read it from the notes. That is okay. See, it is your first presentation. Not everyone is like good at presentation. You sometimes you need to look at things. You can make add it in the notes, and when you are presenting, I will not be able to see the notes. Only you will be able to see the notes. Then you can read it from there only, right? So work on that. You can use many tools. You can watch on YouTube like how to do presentation, what things should be included, right? I think on YouTube there is a really great video of an uploaded on a channel of MIT. That is how to on how to communicate with others. On communication skills. You can watch that video. It is a really great video. It explains a lot of things about presentation. You can follow it. You will certainly improve, right? So work on that and do make it more in depth. Make it like
Yes, sir.
include your entire process of creating the website in this. Okay.
Sir, but today is my deadline, day
Uh,
of task.
then you can ask in the technical chat to extend it. Okay. And like, see, it is not really that hard. Okay. You can create it by tomorrow or even the day after tomorrow, right? Because you just need to create the PPT. That's it. There is no other coding or there is no other document, right? Just PPT is there. So like, do research on how to create a stock trading application. What are the other features and components are there? How you can code those features, right? So in a chart, you need API to fetch the data, how you will make it live, like, having the live reload. So do your research how these things can be achieved, include it in the PPT, and then show it. Okay. So you do it by tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Click on schedule presentation. When your presentation will be scheduled, you can give your presentation. Okay. You can speak to technical chat to extend the deadline tomorrow between 10 to 6 p.m.
Okay, sir. I will contact in technical support
Yeah,
and
sure.
extend it to start.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So is there anyone else there for the general queries or presentation? You can stop the screen share now. So okay. So you have any general queries? Else we can conclude the session and end the session for today. Okay, if not, then thank you for joining. You guys are punctual. I can see Brian and Sivin. You will certainly receive good score for the communication score. Okay, then we'll conclude the session for today. Thank you for joining. If you have presentation on tomorrow 7 to 9, you both can also join Akash number session to give you a presentation. So we'll conclude here for the day.